Hi, I'm Amit Sengupta, and this is a video on geography brought to you by Edupedia World. In this video, we are going to read about the size and location of India. So, India is one of the ancient civilizations in the world. And since independence, it has also achieved multi-socio-economic progress. As time went by, India showed a remarkable progress in the field of agriculture, industry, technology, and overall economic development. And today, India is also contributing significantly to the world's economy. Now, having read all of this, in this video, we are going to know a bit about the location of India, its size, and what is the standard meridian of India. And then we'll get to know about India's contact with the outside world. And then we'll read about some of the India's neighbors. So with no further ado, let's begin. The first one is location. India is a vast country and it lies entirely in the northern hemisphere. So northern hemisphere is above the equator. The mainland extends between latitudes 8 degree 4 north and 37 degree 6 north, and the longitudes are 68 degree 7 east and 97 degree 25 east. So when we say latitude, we are talking about the horizontal line. And always remember, latitude increases when we go away from the equator, because equator lies at 0 degree latitude, and by the way, equator is also the longest latitude. Now similarly, longitudes are vertical lines. They are also the reason behind our standard time formation. You need to remember that Tropic of Cancer passes through India. Tropic of Cancer is located at 23.5 degrees north of the equator. In India, Tropic of Cancer passes through the states of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Tripura, and Mizoram. Now, Tropic of Cancer is a latitude. The region below the Tropic of Cancer is called as the tropical region, and above that is known as the subtropical region. And it is this Tropic of Cancer that divides the country into almost two equal parts. And they are known as the Northern India and the Southern India. Now to the southeast and the southwest of the mainland of India lies the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Lakshadweep Islands. So Andaman and Nicobar Island lies in Bay of Bengal and Lakshadweep lies in Arabian Sea. So the Andaman and Nicobar Islands are divided into two parts. The northern part is called the Andaman and the southern part is called the Nicobar. Now the northern part, that is the Andaman group, has 325 islands, and the southern island, which is the Nicobar group, it has only 24 islands. So together Andaman and Nicobar has 349 islands. Now on the other hand, the Lakshadweep Island is comparatively smaller in size when compared to Andaman and Nicobar Island. Now it has 10 inhabited islands. So the meaning of inhabited islands is where people or animals reside. And then it has 17 uninhabited islands. And Lakshadweep is completely a coral reef, meaning the entire island is made up of coral reef. So corals are nothing but rocky substance which are formed in the sea by groups of particular type of small animal. So when these sea animals die, their dead structure converts into a hard rocky substance known as coral. And the entire island of Lakshadweep is made up of these coral reef. Now let's move on to the second topic. Let's get to know about the size of Indian subcontinent. So the landmass of India has an area of 3.28 million square kilometers. So we are just talking about the landmass area that forms the Indian border. And these landmass also includes both the islands, that is Lakshadweep and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And this much of Indian landmass forms 2.4% of total area of the world. Which means when we compare the landmass of India with the rest of the landmass of the world, India takes 2.4% of the entire pie. Now in terms of size, India is the 7th largest country of the world. Now you must remember that this is purely in terms of size and not population, because in terms of population, India is 2nd largest country right after China. So India has a land boundary of about 15,200 kilometers. And the total coastal boundary is 7,516 kilometers. And if you go to the northwestern, the northern and the northeastern part, India is bounded by the young fold mountains, which is called the Himalayas. The reason Himalayas are called young mountains because the Himalayas may be more than 450 million years old. and they have been formed due to the collision of the Indian as well as the Asian plate, and this led to the rising of Himalayas. India is usually referred to as peninsula. The meaning of peninsula is a land body which is surrounded by water from three sides. Because if there is water on the fourth side, then that piece of landmass becomes an island. Now the three water bodies that surrounds India is, on the southwestern side we have the Arabian Sea, on the southern side we have Indian Ocean, and on the southeastern side we have Bay of Bengal. Now if you were to measure India from north to south and east to west, always remember the east to west extent appears to be smaller than north to south extent. So this was all about the size of Indian subcontinent. Now we are going to read about the third topic, the standard meridian of India. Now standard meridian means it is a standard time of a particular geographical area or region to a single time standard. It means basically if you want to know a time zone of a country, it is better that we allot a standard time to every country based on their longitudinal degree. So the standard meridian of India is 82 degree 30 east, which passes through Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh. And the reason we have chosen this place as a standard meridian is because if you see from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, in India there is a time lag of 2 hours. And we could have easily taken 2 Indian standard meridians for our country. Because if you see, a country of the size of Russia, they have almost 10 time zones. Hence, we could also have more than one standard meridian of India. But there is a consequences associated with it. Because if you have more than one standard time, it can affect the business cycle of a particular place. Because just imagine if you were to do a business in Gujarat and your client was in Arunachal Pradesh, which is in far east. So with a lag of 2 hours, just imagine the western side would have been 2 hours behind the eastern side. So that means the people in Arunachal Pradesh would finish their work 2 hours earlier than the people in Gujarat. And that can really affect the business need. So I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. Now always remember, the latitudinal extent influences the duration of the day and night. And the reason behind that is because, so if you see latitude, it is nothing but a horizontal line. So if you look at the earth, in the middle we have the equator, which is at 0 degree latitude. The sun rays fall directly on the middle of the earth, which is on the equator. And that's why the equatorial region is also known as the tropical region, because it receives ample of sunshine. Now due to the shape of the earth, which is spherical, the sun rays fall in a slanting manner as we go away from the equator. That is in the both hemisphere, northern as well as the southern hemisphere. And that is the reason if we move away from the equator and reach respective North Pole and South Pole, it gets colder because the sun rays do not fall directly on these places. And where there is no sunshine, you will witness darkness. And that's how the duration of day and night is dependent on latitudinal extent. So always remember that. Now we will read about the fourth topic of this video, India's contact with the outside world. So if you look at the position of the Indian landmass, it is right in the middle, that is the central location between the East and the West Asia. And that's why it is referred to as South Asian country. So always remember, we are not Southeast Asian country, we are only South Asian country. So whenever if there is a question that is India part of ASEAN group of countries, the answer is no, because ASEAN stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So ASEAN is an association of Southeast Asian nations. It is a political and economic organization of 10 Southeast Asian countries. And it was formed on August 8, 1967 by Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore and Thailand. And India is not a Southeast Asian country. So do remember that. India has a strategic ocean routes that connects Europe in west to countries of East Asia. So if you look at the Deccan Plateau of the Indian subcontinent, it extends into the Indian Ocean. And there are a lot of seaports in the west coast as well as in the east coast of India. Now some of the major seaports in India are the Chennai port or Madras port, which is in Chennai, and then we have Haldia port in Kolkata, then Jawaharlal Nehru port, which is also known as Nhava Sheva in Maharashtra. Then we have Kamarajar Port or Ennore Port in Ennore, Chennai, then Kandla Port in Gujarat, then Kochi Port in Kochi, Kerala, then Mangalore Port, then Mormugao Port in Goa, Panaji, then we have Mumbai Port which is in West Mumbai, then Paradeep, Tuticorin Port. So all these are some major seaports in India. So just have a look at them in the map. Now with the help of these seaports, India establishes close contact with West Asia and the regions of Africa as well as Europe. And on the eastern side, it does the same with the East Asian countries. And no other country than India has a long coastline on the Indian Ocean. Therefore, due to this, India has a very strategic location. Now India's contacts with the world have continued through the ages. So if you look at the Indian history, so all the foreign travelers that have visited India in the ancient and medieval times, people like Fahian, then Seleucus Nicator, Megasthenes, so all these people came to India through the land routes. Because at that time, sea route was very dangerous, unexplored. So people at that time preferred land routes. Hence we can also say that land routes are much older than water routes. So now we know that people in the ancient time came from land routes. Now you need to understand something. In order to come from land routes, they had to pass various mountain passes in the north. I'm talking about the passages or narrow steep valleys, all these things. And these routes were very important in the exchange of ideas and commodities. Now when I say ideas, I mean the ideas of Upanishads, Ramayana, stories of Panchatantra, and Indian numeral decimal system. All these things could reach many parts of the world through these routes. And when I say commodities, I mean the spices, muslin and other merchandises that were taken from India to different countries. And apart from all of these rich culture and the architectural styles of the Greek, these all came to India from West Asia. So if you look at the monuments around the country which has domes and minarets, so these all architectural styles are influenced from the Greek sculpture. And Greece is located at the western side of Asia. So now you know how much these routes are very important and how India has a close contact with the world through ages. Now we are going to talk about some of India's neighbors. So as we have read that India's position is in South Asia. It is not part of Southeast Asia. It is South Asia. Therefore there are 9 countries that are India's neighbor. And they are Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Maldives. I have marked all of these places in the map. Just have a look at them. So these were places outside India. Now talking about inside India, we have 29 states and 7 union territories. The latest state that was created, which is also the 29th state, is the state of Telangana, which was formed on 2nd June 2014. Now just for general information, just remember this. Before 1947, that is independence, there were 2 types of states in India. First, it was the provinces, and the second, the princely states. So there was no united India. So provinces were the place which were directly ruled by the British officials, who were appointed by the Viceroy. And the princely states were ruled by local hereditary rulers who acknowledged sovereignty in return for local autonomy. Meaning the British used to put some pressure on these rulers who in return acknowledged the British rule, instilling their own local authority. And then after independence, each state got associated with the Union of India. Together it came into existence as a complete India. So India has a strong geographical as well as historical links with its neighbors, and India shares both friendly as well as formal diplomatic relation with its neighbors. And with this, we have come to an end of this video. I hope you found this video informative.